Olivia. In the past, I've been more than happy to shit on how bad the insides of this place elevators look. You've been here for like a day. I mean, they're pretty bad. They're really bad looking. Oh, that's such a bad line. It's like whoever chose the colors decided baby puke is their primary inspiration. You should say baby puke green. But right now, this place seems like a small, safe haven. Why don't you just say this place looks like heaven? Why do you have to be so weird about it? Like a small slice of heaven. Gordon leans against the small railing against one of the walls. Are those really railings? They're more like handbars. Against one of the walls, the man obviously shaken by what we just seen. I can't blame him. No one casually watches someone fall to their death and not feel anything about it, including me. Oh yeah, they did the little climb up the elevator, and they drop in, I think. How did that guy even get there? A shudder runs down my spine as I watched the poor guy precariously hang off the last rung, screaming out for help, while my human carefully pressed against the wall on the small lips of the shaft. There wasn't anything that could have been done, even if we wanted to. By the time we got close, it was too late. And here we are, still alive, despite everything seemingly trying to kill us every 2 seconds. But for... What does this remind me of this song? I don't know. But it's a game I played enough that the song immediately jumps to mind. But for right now, right here, we're safe and alive. Even if it's for a minute. Still, we have a mission, however nerdy sounding that is, to make it to the surface and get help for whoever's still stuck down below. Smith, Russo, and, the other people? I feel a bit guilty for not remembering their names. Especially the lady scientist. She actually helped me, like, a lot. Every day you get shot and someone patches you up on the go. Sharp huff from Gordon pulls me from my stewing. With an audible crack of his back, the man slowly rises to his full height. Are we going already? I gently ask, getting an inattentive nod from the man. It was nice for a bit, I guess. Let's just get this over with. The man takes a few strides over to the controls on the door. What was that? Unless the music doing weird cuts. To the controls on the door and gives the buttons a firm press. Why did you have to... I guess they took a break. The doors open to reveal a sea of concrete illuminated by a pair of vending machines directly in front of us. Unlike the neat and tidy space of the office complexes, this immediately seems far more industrial. Metallic vents and pipes run above, while concrete walls and floors run as far as the eye can see. Slowly, Gordon inches forward while I bravely watch from over his shoulder, crouching just low enough so I can see while not getting messed up by anything, but not being a large target, a large silhouette. Just as we round the corner, the hallway opens up. A series of cones, red lights, and a small office on the right. A lone hallway stretches before us. For God's sake! Suddenly screams. Jesus! Someone suddenly screams, causing the HIV-wearing human and myself to jump up in surprise. Dude, you're in like a little baby carrier. How do you jump? The panicking scientist round the corner from a small notch that we couldn't see. Both of us watch, curious and confused, sharing a quick look as the man runs up to the windowed office and starts pounding on the glass. Open the silo doors! They're coming for us! It's our only way out! Oomph, oomph. I gasp as my gaze snaps to the sudden bright lights inside the office. A singular, equally frantic guard fighting to survive inside the office. Inside the office. Dumping, but mostly missing an entire magazine to a slowly lumbering zombie. He's scared. Backing up, he fails to notice the vent above him smash open, revealing another zombie who grabs him and starts dragging him into the vents. Muffled yet traumatizing screams echo out as a mixture of frenzied gunshots illuminate the vent before going quiet. Oh my God! We're doomed! The scientist screams, turning back towards the hallway and running hysterically down the hallway with arms raised into the air and in some sickly musing. Boom! It more like a boom. As though I was going to say something about the guy, everything explodes into a frenzy of fire and noise in just a split second. Literally. A massive ball of flame erupts from the hallway, seemingly vaporizing the poor scientist. The second a wave of heat and pressure slams into me, a blaring alarm starts to blast through the foyer. It's not really a foyer, it's more like a T-section. As an angry red light starts spinning in the corner of the room. My eyes snap open as I realize a massive red door starts slowing down. Ah! Before I get a chance to realize what's going on, Gordon breaks out in a full sprint towards the slowly lowering metal door. I grab on for dear life as I'm jerked around the harness. Gordon, wait! With inches to spare, I duck my head under as I feel they are rushing behind me and mixing in with the smell of burnt flesh and gunpowder. Clear on the other side, the human comes to an abrupt halt, jostling me even further. Let out a surprised yelp and quickly jerk my tail towards me as I feel the cold steel of the door make contact. As an immediate shock of everything begins to wane, I finally come up with $1 million question. What the hell was that? My hands wave outwards to the smoldering remains of the sign just terrifically tucked into the corner of the hallway. I tried not to be too horrified by the literally meaty chunks neatly stacked atop each other. He just exploded! You saw that, right? Why did you run towards it? I clamber out to Golden's shoulder, meeting his gaze. What posture are you on his back? With pressed lips, he slowly nods, giving a tiny, unsure shrug. God, that's such a clumsy sentence. He's probably just as dark as me. In the dark. He's not... Listen, he was not a sensitivity hire, okay? The sensitivity hires behind the control panels doing all the important work. Gordon was hired because he knew nepotism. A frustrated huff slips out of me as I drop back into the harness. I guess we can just keep... Attention. All. Science. Personnel. Report. Topside. 4. Immediate. Questioning. Both of us look up towards the ceiling as a familiar, feminine, yet distinctly robotic voice announces its instructions. If it's telling people to get topside for question, it can only mean one thing. It has to be the army, I subconsciously whisper before craning my head to meet Gordon's gaze. How close are we actually to the surface by now? The man scratches at his beard for a second before giving an unsure waggle of his hand, thankfully following up with a small pinching gesture. Not sure, but probably close. I always thought those doors led to the surface, but I'm pretty sure they don't actually. It's a sitch, it's a sitch. Well, then let's get moving. The first thing we have to do is tell them about Smith and the other people. With a more agreeable nod, or more agreeing nod, I wouldn't know. The human quickly takes a few strides forward, rounding the corner and passing the chunky remains of the human earlier. Honestly, considering how sassy you've been, I'm surprised you didn't just call him Chunky Salsa. But just as quickly as our movement starts, it comes to a halt. I open my maw to gently grill the guy, but my attention is stolen rather quickly as I look before me. Before an open doorway are two thin red lasers blocking the way. They don't look like death lasers by any means, but there hasn't exactly been a time when red lasers meant something good. Well, I've been here. What do we do? I mean, do we touch them? Gordon shakes his head sharply before it starts to wander about the room. I follow, curious for a second before it dawns on me. Oh, yeah, okay, smart idea. Join in on the search, trying not to automatically pick on the body parts not far behind. Well, you're looking ahead of you. It's an easy choice. No, just now. Annoyingly, the narrow space had little in way of options. At least, that's until I spotted a tiny sliver of it. What about that? I pointed out, getting the man's attention. Tucked into the far corner of the room was a bucket and mop. A simple wet floor sign proudly standing next to it. Take the sign, hide around the corner, and just toss it. A bright look of surprise pops onto the man's face as he turns back to me. What? It's like a puzzle game. It doesn't take a huge nerd like yourself to figure it out. It's not a puzzle game. It's supposed to be more IMSIM, like use solutions that make sense given the physics of reality or something like that. I don't fucking know, I don't know, man. We just don't know. Hold up, I need to bully a guy. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yeah, they're gonna meet the turrets real soon. With a silent, yet certainly amused shake of his head, the man walks over and picks up the sign. Carefully placing us behind the corner, he sticks an arm out, shooting me a quick look. A nod covering my ears in case there's a big kaboom, and during his hand, the sign goes flying. Do-do-do-do-do. An electrical powering on chirp fills the hallway. How the hell would you know what that sounds like? You're not an engineer, Olivia. You can't just have weird, specific knowledge you can just draw upon on a moment's notice. Like, retroactively, you can reflect on certain things, but, like, in the moment, you do not have any context that you're a fucking artist, Olivia! My blood goes cold as a hauntingly familiar whirring noise fills the hallway. Like, I know I often complain that you're being a bit flowery with your language, but I mean that more from the perspective of, like, this is not how an artist would look and think about things, and not from the perspective of your character should have bad writing, right? Like, your writing should be good, but it should fit the character. Another blood-red laser enters the hallway, this time perpendicular to the first two. It swings around before landing on the charred remains of the scientist from earlier. The hallway is filled with an angry swarm of bullets, each one of them finding their mark on the bloody remains of the man from earlier. Thousands of rounds paint the walls with bullet holes and blood. Man, that's a big magazine. Showering Gordon and I in specks of blood. Somewhere in the chaos, I yell at the man to move back, removing us from the splash zone. But as soon as it started, the gunfire comes to a halt, leaving a distant ring in my ears and the ever-familiar taste of ozone. I will find out whoever built this fucking place, and I'm gonna strangle them. I'm not even joking. I will straight up kill them, Gordon. Barely getting acknowledgement from the human. I grumble as I look over at the smoking remains. With a noise similar to before, the laser vanished. The laser must be happy with its work. So anytime we cross the laser, it turns on? Gordon nods as he goes back to the earlier corridor. Thankfully, he waves a hand out. No reactions from the sentry. Oh, wait, that's how they work? I thought that's just, like, turns them on, but they turn on anyway. Little Maurice takes us out more in the hallway until we're smack dab in the middle. Standing clearly set up behind a small fence in the room is a small tripod, its barrel barely pointing downwards as it sits idle. Another thing in this place trying to kill me. Just what I needed. Just what I needed. The man walks up to the borderline to the borderline of the two twin blazes, looking as though some way to get around, while equally invested my eyes drift around the room beyond our narrow space. A sprawling warehouse lays beyond, boxes stacked high among shelves as a sea of concrete only continues onwards. I can hope we're... Oh, hey! I call out, getting my eyes' attention. My finger pointing side, trying to convey the message. That pillar there. What if we just book it and hide behind it before the turret switches on? Gordon's brow thorough in thoughts, his head tilting to the side as he clearly thinks on the matter. Seriously, do you have any better ideas? The reserved's eye shakes his head. Waving me down, he braces himself just before the lines. A particular one to get shot again, I make myself small as possible behind Gordon's back. Let out a small yelp as I'm thrown around harshly in the harness as the human breaks into a running sprint. Unlike those walking sprints. Crossing the lines, the turret lets out a signature beeping as it rises from its metallic slumber. Why is it slumber metallic? It's made of metal, but its slumber isn't like particularly metallic. It's more electronic. Thankfully, Gordon makes it to the cover and gets too bad. If anything, I think we're in the clear. Just as a familiar green flash drops something next to us, the turret's targeting beam finds its mark. What was a head crab for a split second, shredded apart by the deafening fury of the turret. Its ever more bullet-ridden corpse splatters against the wall, being turned more and more into Swiss cheese as the turret roar fills the room. And everything goes quiet. The searching red laser tracks her out of the room before a satisfied beep announced the turret returning to its sleep state. Shakily, I unfurl from my spot. See? I stammer out, pulling myself up to Gordon's shoulder. I told you that would. The words are cut short by the sight before me. Two bloodied, unmoving corpses of humans unlike I've any seen before lay sprawled out among a small pile of headcrabs. They're draped in an assortment of camouflage and tactical gear, and helmets and gas masks surrounding their faces as they slump forward. Soldiers, or what's that? Oh, shit! I mutter as Gordon slowly peels himself from the wall and walks over to one of them. The military's actually here, and they're dying. Are their turrets shit at IFF? A deeply unnerving shiver runs down my spine. If they're the one group who's meant to save us from getting slaughtered too, then who will actually reach us? The tip of my tail brushes against something metallic. As I crane my neck back, a wild grin spreads across my snout. Grenades! I all but hiss out in pure excitement. A small pile of them lay haphazard across the floor. Catching my drift, the human turns back and plucks a few of them, depositing into his utility belt. Remember, you still owe me one, I gently tease, deep down hoping to get a smile out of the rather stiff guy. Instead of the humorous huff I'm expecting, the man's attention snaps back, being firmly fixed forward on one of the corpses leaned up against the wall. The brief smile that was on my face slowly drops more and more as Gordon stares. Part of me wants to ask him what's wrong, but another part doesn't want to disturb a poor, probable maniac in the middle of his moments. Why are you so mean to him, man? He's trying his best. Well, it's just... With a surprisingly dejected sigh, he reaches out towards the corpse. With a sickening twist, he starts searching over the soldier's utility vest. Wait, is he actually looting the guy? Well, not the first time Gordon has lifted something off of a corpse before. Doing it to a soldier feels wrong in a way. Nevertheless, I hold my tongue. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I can't deny that until we're in the clear, we're going to need every bit of stuff we can get. Gordon looks over my eyes, focused on a stylized patch under a somewhat familiar flag on the guy's arm. HECKIE Marines. Percute Selite in Umers. Oh, that's a cool... Let's look that up. We'll go over here. Oh, let me actually go to translate. Strike quickly in the shadows. Yeah, Celerator comes from celerity, so I know about that. But percute is not one I know. So what does HECKIE stand for? Hazardous Environment Combat Unit. Oh, that's cool. That's neat. I didn't know that. A solid click fills the room. It robs my attention as the human flicks over one of the pouches. He pulls out a distinctive shape. It's not a pistol, but in a shape that's recognizable to me. Instead of the gray-black plastics of the previous gun, which I lost. Oh, so he did lose it. I thought he got it back. This one is a deep black with a shiny finish. Oh, this is how we're going to justify the whatever. Smooth, a stylish line running down the frame. Now, I'm pretty sure I've seen a movie like this before in action movies. With a practice motion, he drops the pistol into his holster, tagging a few spare mags with it. Wait, what the fuck is this? What do you mean another pistol? Isn't this where you get the MP40? Or MP50? Or whatever? It's like one of those MPs, man. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I need to pull out my phone. Our first mentioned, the fire lead, blah, blah. But they have a gun. See HECKIE weapons. But they have a different gun. No, that's a whole different fucking thing. What's their submachine gun? Oh, the SMG. It's just called the SMG. What are they like in Black Mesa again? Yeah, the Heckler & Koch MP5. Yeah, baby! I mean, I said MP50, so I'm kind of fucking stupid. But... Oh, they do have a slightly different gun. I don't think you ever pick that up, though. Or maybe that's, because there is a different version of this. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not too familiar with, like, the intricate details of this fucking shit. Also, I don't think they ever use them. The pistols. They generally speaking use the big guns. A robot grunt? Fucking robot grunt? What the fuck are you talking about? They got robots? It's another pistol. Anyway, it's a cool pistol. I guess we're going for the because in the remake, the assault rifle gets replaced with like this fucking M4 looking device. It's an M4, right? Hold up, it's in a different window now. Hold up, please hold the fucking phone. Listen, I'm not smart, but I try my best. I may be stupid. Combat rifle. Fuck off. Like there is, yeah, it's an M4. 25 rounds. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah. In the high definition pack, this is replaced with an M4 carbine, which is fucking illogical because it still shoots the goddamn pistol rounds. Which is why it's so dumb. It's like, that's a fucking full-blown assault rifle. Why does it shoot 9mm? Shouldn't that thing be shooting those fancy NATO rounds? What are they called again? Hold up. What are they called again? 5.56 times 45mm NATO rounds. There you go. Instead of the 9.19. So teeny! Lord drops the pistol to his holster, uneasy, and look away with a slight cringe tugging at my lips. Watching a dead guy get picked over isn't exactly something I'm thrilled about. You saw a guard do this last time. Why weren't you upset about it back then, buddy? Hopefully Gordon will be. A hollow plastic ruffles out as the camouflage pattern fills my vision. Blinking in surprise, I pull back and refocus on what's before me. It's a helmet, specifically the dead soldier's helmet. Gordon waves it around in the air, asking if I want... Oh, no, I'm good. Sid turns back. It wasn't a question. He wants me to put it on. Come on, man. That was just a dead guy. His hand sharply points at me, then to the corpse. And you'll be dead if you don't put this on. My eyes meet the human's piercing gray ones behind his dirty glasses. Flick them to the helmet, lingering for a second or two before letting out a defeated sigh. Plucking it from his grip, I turned over in my hands when Gordon started moving again. So he walks out the storage area. I give the headgear an uncomfortable look. It's worth pointing out that, like, considering there's head crabs, wearing a helmet is not a bad idea, Olivia. You've literally been attacked by them once. Shouldn't you be a little more scared and worried about helmets? You scared off a dead guy and I'm about to put You're not a fucking RimWorld character. Man up. How is this the weirdest thing that's happening? What do you mean? How is this the weird? You fought actual zombies. You've bitten one in half. And you're like, wearing a dead guy's helmet. Now that takes the fucking cake. Aliens shoot lightning beams. Oh man, that's just normal Sundays. Taking a deep breath, I toss it onto my head. It's tight space, along with my messy hair. Makes it snug, not skull-crushingly fit. That's because you're fat. No, that's because your skull probably isn't human-shaped. I adjust it around, clipping the strap onto my snout. I feel like one of those special needs kids. I think the only special needs, you're going to be special needs, you don't wear the fucking helmet. As we march forward, Gordon swiftly blasts and swats a few more headcrabs while I watch from the safety of his back. There's not much to focus on. Moving forward, that's kind of it. Try not to think about the fact that you're wearing a dead guy's helmet. The second we round the corner, Gordon comes to a sudden halt, throwing me against his back. Snapping back to reality, I look onto our next roadblock. A singular blue laser reaches across the wall, unlike those earlier red ones. Blinking, I reel over and give it a look-see. Its beam emits from a rectangular box aimed forwards. A bright warnings label stamped on the side of the. Are you fucking kidding me? They put warning labels on this damn thing? Man, that's so nice. Oh, okay. Let's look up the laser trip mine. Oh, this doesn't have the Black Mesa ones, so I wouldn't fucking know. Which is a little sad, but you know. Also, the way that it looks, it sometimes looks to me like it's broken in some of the models. Kind of depends on which exact model you're using, but the lens glare is kind of meh. I haven't seen them yet because I haven't gotten to this party in Black Mesa yet. I've kind of been dilly-dallying on that. I'll catch up, don't worry. Alright. Wait, I mutter, sharing a look with Gordon to make sure we're on the same page here. It's probably why the scientist earlier went boom. No way, that's... I let out with a choked laugh of disbelief, resting my head on my phone. There's no way that's a mine! Gordon said slowly nods as we both come to the same conclusion. Okay, so, no. Who the actual fuck is putting up landmines to secure us? It's not a landmine, Olivia. It's a laser trip mine. It's a trip mine, not a landmine! The human can only give an unsure shrug. Groaning, I throw my head back and file that complaint for later. Like, the reason they use it is they can't fucking bury a landmine. Like, anyone can see one if you throw it on the ground. People are looking down with all these headcrabs around. Fine, if it's a mine, how do we get around? Although you have to look down for the headcrabs and up for the barnacle, so there's a good combination of things. And then you get the weird fly guys. And you get the bull squids, which are pretty low to the ground. If it's a mine, then how do we get around it? Human shoots me an unimpressed look. What? Well, I'm sure he would poke fun of me if he could. He instead soundly crouches down and limbos under the beam. On the other side, he waves an open palm out with a stupidly smug look on his face. I cross my arms and pout. Smart ass! Two of us more or less force our ways through the concrete jungle we found ourselves in. It's all seemed to stretch forever, only broken up by the occasional alien turret or trip mine blocking our path. I thought they were landmines. With a combination of gunfire, tactical limbos, and grenades, we seem to be making actual progress. Those stupid puzzles or vents to block our way. And finally, thoop! Another one large metallic fire doors shuts down behind us. Gordon smartly realizing that it can act as cover to the turrets flanking our rear. Doesn't help with the fact that there's a web of small red lasers before us. Slowly no way up, around, or under them. Suddenly, a giant slab of metal between it and us. Simple as that. Oh, oh, are you spoiling a puzzle I haven't played yet? Ugh, I don't think in the original game you have to do that because I did it in hard mode and I kind of just went through it. Like I didn't really have to think about the turrets too much. I just used grenades and all. They give you plenty. Crossing the beams, the muffled noise of the turret can be made out just behind us. Why would they shoot at nothing? I guess the red walls qualify as a target. We found a pair of boxes, revealing another small corner with an open elevator shaft at the end. God damn it, I need to play this. Being mindful of a red laser on the ground, I lift my tail as Gordon steps over it. Then suddenly the world goes sideways. A pain gas slips out as the world is knocked out from me and is slapped onto my side. My arm stings with impact until it feels cold as I struggle to process what the hell just happened. A toneless grunt hisses from my ride as he picks himself off the ground. Status report, Gordon ain't shit. I'm okay, I mutter, half lying, as Gordon picks himself off the floor. He picks himself off the floor. His boot slides out from under him. He manages to catch himself on a nearby pipe. Looking down, I realize the whole floor is soaked in water. Ironically enough, there's a wet sign. Why is that ironic? Why is that ironic? Do you mean it's folded up? It'd be ironic if it's folded up, but you didn't describe it like that. It's implied that someone marked it as unsafe, and you're like, oh, that's ironic. No, that's what that sign's supposed to do. Wait, does this make this water really? Seriously? Hey, careful. Wait, who's this? Careful! Don't cross the beams! A sudden voice causes the two of us to snap our eyes forwards. I'm guessing the two maintenance workers, their green jumpsuits and yellow hats, are more the construction workers than scientists. Oh, it's Gus, standing below us at the end of the hallway, separated by a myriad of red lasers and turrets, of course. Because why would it be easy? How do you want to do this? I ask, ignoring a startled gasp one of the workers as they no doubt see me. Gordon scratches behind his glasses for a second before waving his hands. Dude, those gloves on your suit are covered in gore. Ew! He points to me, then the floor, and the outside hand like a snake. I let you out and you crawl under. At this point, I don't know what to say. Wrapped, Jesus, no. If I do anything else, boom, dead Olivia. If I'm dead, who's gonna take care of Guts? I'm surprised you didn't take Guts with you that day. This is like an easy joke to make, but I think he'd be blown up by this point. Man, I miss him. The man lowers himself down carefully. Let me slip free of my moorings and onto the floor. A startled cry yelps out of the two pansies as they run back into the room they just come from, their arms flailing at the green monster crawling towards them. Wusses, I grumble, rolling my eyes as my attention harshly turns to the sudden wet sensation on my chest. I'm gonna get soaked. Letting out a frustrated huff, I start crawling forwards. Yeah, there is a section where like Gordon slips and slides on the water, right? I forgot that's part, right? It's like there's an open section, like an open door you can slip into. Try to get out of the water as much as possible. I thought it was ice though. Carefully, I snake my way under the laces, being mindful of my tail or helmet catching the beam. Second in my gut, I thankfully slide under the last one. You mean you're thankful that you slide safely under the last one, clearing it and raising? No, you're rising back to your hands and feet. Like you raise things, but you rise up. I turn back and give Gordon a thumbs up, at least before scaring behind the safety of a nearby wall. I'm not feeling in the mood to get shot anytime soon. Watching from my safe space, I see Gordon gingerly make his way around the beams. He clears the first one easily enough, but the last one he decides to jump over. Beep! Only for his damn toes to catch it. Adrenaline immediately rushes into my veins as the sound of turrets beep to life spill to space. Press myself as much against the wall as possible. The deafening roar of turrets is like a jet engine in the small space. A rain of bullets fills the air in front of me as the flashes make it look like a sick rave is happening just outside. Almost in a blink of an eye later, Gordon hurriedly comes into the space, bullets literally looking as if they're bouncing off his back with a flurry of sparks. Well, he does have, like, kinetic dampeners on that suit of his. Slamming himself into the opposite wall, looking over me, visibly shaken. As I open my mouth to shout him, I see a large red button to his right. The door! Close the door! I signal over the deafening rain of lead. His eyes look to the side and he goes, bam! The blaring alarm. A red light starts spinning. Just like before, the metallic red fire door starts to lower down. Thankfully, it doesn't take too long before the guns and us are separated. I think there are certain sections where we're kind of like forced to trigger those things early. The two of us catch our breath as we slump down against our respective walls. I'm able to remove the helmet, running a hand through my dirty mop of hair. God, what I do for a hot bath right now? Yes. Is it over? Faintly. Is it over? These guys must be Swiss cheese by now. I don't know. I don't know. I thought I heard the fire door close. We're still alive! I grunt out, not particularly feeling in a forgiving kind of mood. No thanks to you guys! The duo of surprised shouts echo out of the hallway. Shaking my head, frankly already done with those morons before I even start to crawl over to Gordon. Let me back in. I don't think Gordon's ready, man. That guy took it heavy. Slipping back into the harness, I can't help but look over at the plate on his back. Several deep scratches run along in streaks, sharing in a pair and revealing a weird gray mesh beneath. It looks like it actually went into him, but the fact remains the same. Gordon's been shot. So does he really protect him that much? I was always under the impression, right, that it does. And like the actual thing you take as damage in the game is more like you're getting like the blunt force trauma is doing you in. You know, because like you can stop the bullet, but the force will still echo through you and fuck up your meat. And I don't like that he's actually suffering combat damage because I don't think it's ever shown that these suits take that kind of damage. Although, admittedly, you are talking about a very primitive game, so it doesn't really have space for those kinds of model adjustments. Does he really protect him that much? Or I get a chance to ask, he exits the little alcove and strides forward. Singular fork lift is parked rather douchely. Why is that what you're focusing on? Also, it's douchely, not douchely. Narrowing the walking path to a single funnel. Adding injury to insult, a blue trip mine runs straight across the gap of the lift to the nearby set of boxes, blocking our way. Oh man, I forgot. There's like a whole sector you have to crawl through a maze of mines, right? Our attention is drawn away, however, from the prophetic mumbling coming from our left, to deep into the corners of the two workers from earlier. Their shoulders are pressed tightly together as they stare at us horrified. I deadpan, but do feel guilty about being mean to the guy earlier. They're just terrified, and I shouldn't blame them. Considering you've been terrified and literally scared shitless at least once, Olivia, shut the hell up. Like, you just don't feel like you're cognizant of your own situation. Sometimes. Look, we're not going to kill you or whatever. We're trying to find the military. The military? Why the hell would you want that? Why would I want that? Why wouldn't want it? There's no point in it. To get saved? Duh? Why, you don't know? I don't know what. Pathetic laugh bubbles out of him. No, look, it's your freaking funeral. I'm staying here, not moving. This time a dissatisfied grunt hums from Gordon. It's a bit surprising to me. Either way, I can't help but share the sentiment. If these guys don't want to be saved, fine by me. But they already know. Figuring out the best way around the mine is to simply clamber over some boxes. We elect to leave the workers to their fate. Surely rescue is only a few rooms away, especially if we're seeing soldiers that have already been here. Gordon's boot firmly click against the floor as he lands. And then he stops entirely. A small torch of fear runs down my hands as I worry about what can make him come to a sudden pause. I look around the room trying to meet his gaze. That the storage room nothing really stands out in the shelves or boxes. The only difference is there's a multiple level. A shocked gasp leaves my throat as I stare up. There, staring down from the highest level of the catwalks, is none other than our constant shadow throughout this entire nightmare. He stands perfectly still on grated metal of the catwalk. 3 stories up. A single caged halogen lamp hangs from a nearby pipe, casting a harsh, sickly yellow glare across the gantry. Man, that's neat. The light catches the sharp, unnatural angles of a immaculate blue suit and throws the hollows of his cheeks in deep skeletal shadow. That's a pretty good line. I mean, that's something Olivia would notice. Again, she's an artist, so she wouldn't notice light fall and things, because that's very much what she'd be concerned about. He simply stares down at us, one hand gripping the handle of the ubiquitous leather briefcase. How would you call it? You've seen like 3 times. His pale, unblinking eye locks onto mine, bores down on us like a giant hammer, freezing us in place. There's no hostility in his gaze, but no warmth either. Just the cold, clinical interest of a researcher peering down into a terrarium. Shiver crawls up my spine that has nothing to do with the damn chill of the room. The man, his eyes seem to flick between us. How would he know? Isn't he like a good distance away? It's hard to tell at that distance, especially since you're like literally glued together. Before he slowly and deliberately lifts his free hands to adjust his dark tie. He gives a faint, almost imperceptible nod, and then he turns away. The rhythmic click-clack of his dress shoes against the steel grating echoes down the cavernous room. I watch as he steps out into the harsh halo of the halogen lamp, his silhouette bleeding seamlessly into the absolute darkness of the corridor beyond. Within seconds, he's gone. Both of us remain frozen for a few seconds, equally unsure what to do. Who is he? And why does he keep following us around? It's actually starting to get on my nerves. Next time I see him, I'm going to kick his ass. The announcement system coughs to life, a weird glitching noise snapping us out of a trance. Attention, this is the announcement system. Another garbled mess fills the air before a solid click is heard throughout the storage warehouse. It sounds like 2 different voices coming out of the same speaker. Is now under military command. One's gentle female voice gives way to a more robotic male. Off. I fucked it up! Gordon and I share a quick look. A brief yet uneasy smile pulling his lips. I could have made a change, but instead I went for where did go? Whatever, I'm so dumb. The military has control of that. Surely must be taking control of the whole facility. Hopefully means we could save ourselves and everyone in this complex. But, oh my god, one moment, please. Excusez-moi. Let's get moving. I urged, getting a small nod from the human. Resuming our original mission, we slowly make our way up to the catwalks in the room. Both of us keep a watchful eye out for the mysterious man, especially the closer we get to where he was standing. As we reach the top level, Gordon slides his pistol out of his holster, keeping it ready just in case. Through a small double doorway, I can make out a fenced-off level that leads to a larger space. The orange-clad human slowly makes his way forward, his eyes darting around the opening. Clunk! As we board the doorway, a loud metallic noise echoes out the room. On the opposite end, an elevator slowly lowers down. Through the gaps, I can make out a familiar shape. Holy shit, Gordon! That's a soldier! I eagerly point out, literally jabbing a finger there. Why do you have to call us literally? Like, what is the pretense that you need to clarify that? That's an actual soldier! My head snaps down to him, and as genuine relief and an elation begins to burn in my chest. A smile stretches wide across my snout, beaming brighter than the sun itself as I watch our rescue slowly lower itself down. Hell, even my tail begins to happily swish side to side. Gordon lets out a smile on his own features, holstering his pistol and slowly picking up the pace. We're saved! We're actually gonna make it out of here! I'm gonna live! Rescue at last! The voice calls out. So he hurries at the corner. Gordon pauses. I wanted to yell at him to keep moving. My eyes are drawn to the scene down below. A lone scientist. Hold on, I need a drink. A lone scientist rushes the staircase, his arms outstretched to greet the figure stepping out of the elevator. It's a Marine. He looks exactly like the corpse we saw earlier, covered in stone-colored camouflage and decked out in green tactical gear, his face completely hidden behind a helmet and gas mask. Luckily, I don't have a fetish for gas masks or men in uniform, so I'm perfectly fine. Although, to be honest, I might be getting a thing for gas masks. Gordon, I think all the rubber in your suit's setting me off. Can you stop that? And he's like, it's not rubber. It's a special synthetic protective material. It's non-chemically reactive, Olivia. It's not rubber. Oh, so it's latex. And he's like, it's not that. Do you have any idea what happens to latex if you chlorinate it, Olivia? It's a whole different fucking substance. Like, yeah, it's easier to clean and there's less issues. But it's not the same, Olivia. Real perverts know the difference. Thank Thank God you're here. Please, you have to get me out of this stupid tie. Out of these ridiculous ties. The scientist stops a few feet away, his words faltering at the soldier's intimidating presence. The military man remains completely still, doesn't even drop his weapon, doesn't off. Why would he drop his weapon? You mean lower his weapon? He doesn't even offer a hand, he doesn't move an inch. A filtered, static-sounding sigh fills the quiet room. Time seems to fracture. The heavy, metallic clatter of the assault rifle being raised cuts right through the scientist's desperate hope. Freezing the blood in my veins. Wait! The scientist backs away across the tiled floor, his hands flailing his fast gun. No! No! The deafening, sustained roar of automatic fire shatters the room. The muzzle flash strobes violently against the tile. Man, that's a good fucking picture, man. I don't know who fucking made that. Arlock, apparently. Damn, Arlock. I like that she got the helmet, though. She looks so goofy, but I like it. I like how his glasses are all orange. Man, he's got the cool Valve glasses, I guess, or the HEV matching glasses. Anyway, that's cool. That's a cool fucking chapter. I always love this section because the fact that the military turns out to be after you, like at first you're like, oh, they're doing this on accident, right? Like we're going through their defensive line, and then it's like, oh no, it's not that simple, buddy. We're fucked. We're absolutely fucked. And this is where Olivia has to make some big fucking changes because the shit's gonna get weird otherwise. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Nah, I'll see you eventually. Well, next time we've got hostiles, which is cute. That chapter technically starts when you enter the T-section hallway, so, but I guess we're shifting it over because it's kind of a reveal. It's a bit weird that it starts off with that. It's a little spoiler. I feel the time it could have been better. You know. Safi T. Crook giving some slight updates we can give to a game that's like 30 years old.